Welcome again to another episode of a business case of an African tech company. Today, I'd like to talk about Jumia, the rise, the challenges, and ongoing evolution of Africa's e commerce pioneer. For most of you who don't know, Jumia was once named, or maybe still named, the Amazon of Africa. It was founded in 2012 in Lagos, Nigeria, with a core principle to transform the African retail through e commerce. Over the years, it has branched into payment, logistics, and food delivery. And through all of this, it has navigated challenges like limited to infrastructure and diverse local markets. But what is Jumia's business model? Originally, it was a first-party retailer. Then Jumia pivoted in 2016 to a third-party marketplace model, allowing multiple sellers to list products on its platform. This shift had helped reduce direct inventory risk while expanding product variety. So remember, they have marketplace connects third-party sellers and buyers, and then they went on to launch Jumia Pay, which was a digital wallet and payment solution, Jumia Logistics, an in-house last-mile delivery to overcome infrastructure challenges, Jumia Food, food delivery services, which was discontinued in several other markets by 2023. The way they make money through commissions on third-party sales, fulfillment of services, transaction fees from Jumia Pay, and advertising services. Let's look at some of their key milestones. So remember, like I said, in 2012, they were launched and established in Lagos, Nigeria. 2016, they start transitioning to a third-party marketplace model. In 2019, they got listed in the New York Stock Exchange, making them the very first African startup on a major global exchange. By 2021, GMV rose to 12% to about 245 million euros. And by Q1, Jumia Pay transaction was up by 52% year on year, right? And then, of course, we have the IPO and the stock performance, but we'll go into that. The year is April 12, 2019. Jumia went public and they were trading at $14.50 per shares, valued at $1.1 billion. Just 4 days after that, they peaked to $49.77 and valued at $3.8 billion. But then by August, their shares dropped significantly to 2.15 cents, which was insane. You could imagine that they had already secured an active user base of 8 million active customers by 2022. And their market shares account for 20% of retail transactions in Nigeria. And they grew an extraordinary ecosystem beyond just the e-commerce, Jumia Pay and Jumia Logistics. Like I said, Jumia Pay growth rate was 52%, reaching 45.4 million in total processing volume. And in logistics, like I said, they created their own delivery network to overcome poor road conditions and high theft rates. It's funny, I was actually speaking about this to some of my friends not too long ago. But despite these strides, Jumia continues to face endure major setbacks. So from post-pandemic decline after COVID-19, their e-commerce boom, Jumia's GMV growth slowed down significantly. And then they started getting a lot of customer satisfaction issue. Early market, days post 2016, inadequate vendor stock and fluctuating product quality. And then they started recording significant losses. In 2018, they lose about $192 million. And by 2019, their expenses surpassed their profit margin by $1.6 million. And by 2019, they were then starting to face different issues from stock price being crashing to being forced to exit 14 markets and so on. But what were the key problems? Well, number one, high cost of operations from logistics, marketing, technology. And then they started having a lot of competition. Local players started coming to the market, but also global e-commerce players started to come. In fact, pause, Amazon just launched in South Africa, which is also going to continue to just be a significant competition from Jumia. To counter some of these losses and rebuild investor confidence, Jumia started implementing cost-cutting strategy in 2020, for example. The co-CEOs at the time reduced their salaries, their marketing budget were extremely trimmed. And then they started introducing new, services. They introduced grocery, sanitary items, and during COVID-19. And then, like I said, they started going from unprofitable market 14. They exited 14 markets. And they started really, really pushing a lot harder into Jumia Pay, Jumia Logistics. So a lot of things then started happening very quickly for this company. So in 2022, for example, Francis Dufay came in to succeed the co-CEOs, Jeremy and Sacha. And then by February, he was made permanent CEO. So he came in first as an acting and then became permanent. But revenue continued to really drop. It dropped by 8% to $186 million by 2023. And others dropped by further 22%, right? So by Q2 of 2024, revenue fell to 17% year on year to 36.5 million. By Q3, revenue further fell by 13% to 36.4 million. And then, but then it starts really improving. So GMV 1% to $162 million. And then liquidity was around $92 million. I know it's like I'm throwing a lot of figures at you. But bear with me. So in 2023, Jumia Food discontinued in 7. Sadly, in October 2024, they exited South Africa and Tunisia. But the company continued to really prove resilient. So by 2024, they started focusing on core markets to further build efficiency and expand Jumia Pay and logistics. But then currency fluctuation hits and local market condition can remain very uncertain. But the company's strategy emphasizes sustainable profitability over breakneck expansion. Now, what are some of the lessons? Some of you are out there now thinking about building the next Amazon of Africa. But I want to draw your attention to some of their challenges. So let's draw from both achievements and failures. So, for example, Jumia illustrates vital lessons for businesses in market expansion. So, expand very cautiously. What happened? They expand rapidly into multiple countries. This strained logistics and finances and increases cost tremendously. The lesson there is growth should be matched by operational readiness to avoid crippling overhead. And then also maintain vendor and product quality. Early marketplace model issues eroded a lot of customer trust due to unreliable stock and subpar items. The lessons learned is make sure that your vendor, you're vetting them, quality checks are in control. It is very critical to support and to satisfy your customer. Also, you have local road infrastructure. Poor road theft and forced Jumia to build its own delivery network. And the problem was that because it was tailored in-house solution, it helps, well, it's not a problem, it helps actually navigate some of these gaps, but it also increases operational costs, right? But also transparency for investors' confidence. Fraud in 2019 led to complete stock collapse. So ensure that you are very clear reports, you have a clear reporting governance and internal controls are indispensable for retaining credibility when you're building a company like Jumia. And also profitability is crucial. Jumia continued continue to make significant losses, and that's why they had to really exit 14 markets. So scaling down and focusing on profitability or being profitable in key markets, especially in your core market, is actually really, really great. I know that thinking about scale and thinking about growth sounds exciting, but in fact, it can be a nightmare. I hope you can learn from this and you continue to learn from it. But it is also important that you look at their journey on how they recover from this position. And let's see whether we'll meet again to celebrate their successes and actually be able to learn from how they overcome some of these challenges they are facing today.